Hi, this is Lawson from the lab. Today we're going to be doing my runner's warm-up. This makes all the difference in the world in my run, and I do it every time before I run, and I know that sounds a little crazy, but I want you to try it too and see how you feel. We're going to be warming up all the major muscle groups that we're going to be using during our run. We're going to start with our abdominals. So I want you to lie down on the floor, soles of the feet together. Hands are going to come behind your head. I want you to lift your pelvic floor and wrap your transverse, that internal layer of muscle. You have a little space between your lower back and the floor, and I want you to maintain that space. You're going to close your rib cage and pull your shoulders down into your hips and float your head and shoulders off the floor ever so slightly. And then from here, you're going to come up a little higher and then back just a couple of inches. Up and back. And I'm really concentrating on pulling my navel into my spine, keeping my rib cage connected to my stomach and tightening up this area right here, my transverse, my internal layer of abdominal wall, my belly button. And that's going to protect my lower back when I run. So I'm going to do about 25 of these tiny little crunches. And then I'm going to start working on the obliques, the side muscles of the abdomen. So I'm going to reach my left hand out over my left knee. I'm going to look over the fingertips of my left hand. I'm going to take my left oblique, that side muscle of the abdomen. I'm going to pull it in towards my belly button. I'm going to do about 25 reaches to the left. And then I'm going to switch sides and go to the right, focusing on that right oblique, looking out over the fingertips of my right hand, pulling my right armpit down towards my right hip, and drawing that right oblique in towards my belly button. 25 of those. All right? When you're finished with that, we're going to work on the hamstring glute insertion point, right where your leg turns into your butt. I want you to flex your feet. You're going to engage your abdominals, reach your fingertips down long so that your back muscles are really busy. You're going to tuck the pelvis and lift it up, and we're just going to do pulses, tiny pulses up towards the ceiling. So I'm trying to keep my neck nice and long, keeping my belly button really engaged and tight. My inner thighs are invisibly connected by this little invisible activation. And I'm just squeezing right where my leg turns into my butt. This is a big muscle for running, right? So I'm going to do about 25 of those. And I'm going to come down and let it rest literally for 5 seconds. My left hamstring glute is weaker than my right. We all have one side that's weaker. So I'm going to choose that leg to work by itself first, just to stress it a little bit more and hopefully make it a little bit stronger. So I'm going to do 25 pulses just on one leg. My opposite leg is reaching up towards the ceiling, and I'm getting a little bit of a stretch in that opposite hamstring. I'm thinking about my left oblique, stabilizing my left hamstring glute insertion point, and I want to do about 25 of those on the left. Come down, switch legs, engage the abdominals first, then come up, and about 25 on the right, stretching that left hamstring a little bit, engaging the right hamstring glute, tiny pulses up to the ceiling about 25 times. The last thing I'm going to do before I run outside is get my quads fired up a little bit. So I'm going to bring my hands under my tailbone, stretch my left leg out, engage my abdominals, engage my left oblique, and pulse 100 times. Gets a little boring. Try to just stick it out, right? Just a tiny pulse just to engage the quad, keeping the abs tight. And this is just a really small movement just to get that quad fired up and awake. 100 times on the left, switch legs, activate that right oblique, little pulses, getting that quad fired up. My head and shoulders are lifted so I get a little extra abdominal work. If that doesn't work for you and it bothers your neck, you can put your head and shoulders down. It's actually still a pretty good stomach workout. 100 times on the right, and you're ready to go. See you next time.